In this video, we're going to talk about layer effects, and we're also going to talk about the styles panel and how they work together. The project that we are going to try to accomplish is we're going to take two different documents which have a cartoon character on each of them, combine them onto this document that you're staring at, this blank white square, and then we are going to apply special effects using layer effects or layer styles to one to give them dimension, and then, so as to not do the work exactly twice, we are going to save all the work that we did to one layer and then apply it to a second one, and that's where the styles panel comes in. So let's take a look at what we're doing. We have two pictures. We have Rigby and we have Mordecai from the regular show, and we are going to take each of them and we're going to bring them over to the new document first. So I'm going to start with Rigby. I'm going to Control A to select all, Control C to copy, then I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to paste. And that will put him in position. And then we're going to come back over to Mordecai, and we're going to do the same thing, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then come back over here, Control V to paste, and I'm going to put him in place. Okay, so as I pasted them in, they each showed up on their own layer. Okay, so we want to start applying special effects to these layers, and I'm going to start with Mordecai first. To apply layer styles or layer effects, there's two places you can go. You can go to the layer menu, which will give you layer styles, which are all here, or, my personal opinion, it's better to do it this way. Come down to the Effects button, which is at the bottom of the Layers panel. And if you haven't noticed by now, there's a serious amount of useful buttons sitting at the bottom of this layer panel. Not just the Effects button, but the Mask button, Adjustment layers, Grouping, and New layers. They're all down here, and I love it. The Effects button makes things just easier because I only have to click once, and it brings up my entire menu. And I'm going to start with Bevel and Emboss. And with Bevel and Emboss, you're not going to see a whole lot right now. You might see there's a little bit of edging going on here where his edges seem to be just a little bit different. If I turn it off, you can see it started like this, and as soon as I put on Bevel and Emboss, it changed a little bit. Well, we want to make it look better. The first thing that we want to do is we want to change the size. By changing the size, now he has a little bit of dimension. He looks like he's coming off the canvas. And if I change the depth of it, much better. So we're going to work with that. And we're going to soften it a little bit. Not too much, just enough. And we're also going to apply some contour to it. And by contouring, we can actually make this look a little bit sharper. So that is just about right. Come back to Bevel and Emboss here. I probably want to change the angle because of the way that his eye looked. So we're going to change the eye a little bit and move the global light positioning, the angling. Now his eyes look okay because if you saw before, his one eye here was dark. And we're going to add a drop shadow. Drop shadow is something that I like to use, and I'm going to send it in a different direction. I'm going to change the angle that it comes from. I'm going to send it further away from his body, like so. I'm going to change the size of it so that it's a little blurry. So now he looks like he's jumping off the screen at us. And I'm going to click OK. All of my settings are set now, and I have all of these things, they're cataloged here. I can turn off what the Bevel and Emboss looks like if I need to by clicking on those little eyeballs. I can turn off the drop shadow. And that's what it looks like. Now he looks starkly different from Rigby, because he's got the effects and Rigby doesn't. And that's where the Styles panel comes in. When you click on Styles, make sure you have Mordecai's layer selected, and you're going to just click on the New button. And in case you haven't noticed this in Photoshop, the universal symbol for New is a little piece of paper with the corner turned up, or just a square with a triangle in the corner. However you want to identify it, that's fine. If you click on this, it's going to create a new style from whatever is attached to this layer. So I'm going to call this one Dimensions. And my caps lock is on. Dimensions. And click OK. Now here in the Styles panel, you have a rough approximation of what your styles look like. And you can see that I have a square that's beveled and embossed. And I also have like a little fuzzy shadow behind it. If I click on layer 1, which is Rigby, and I simply click on this icon, he now has a matching style to Mordecai. And that's really it. You can play with these effects, and I strongly recommend you get used to them. Play with these layer effects because there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. You can texturize things if you have solid colors, and you can add inner shadows and color overlays, and you can lay a gradient on top of something. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do in here. Okay, let your imaginations go, but that's all for this video.